They ordered $4,000 of lobster. Then I shocked my family. The waiter placed the final lobster platter on the table. Anything else? He asked. My brother-in-law laughed. Bring the most expensive champagne you have. My mother smiled proudly. My sister was already taking pictures. And me? I just sat there quietly, watching my family spend nearly $4,000 on a dinner they believed I was paying for. They had no idea that before dessert arrived, I was going to make one announcement that would leave every single person at that table speechless. My name is Carney Daniela, and for years my family had treated me like their personal bank account. But that night, they finally pushed me too far. It started with a family celebration. My younger sister, Claire, had recently announced that she was pregnant. My mother insisted we celebrate at the most expensive restaurant in the city. When I arrived, everyone was already seated. Claire hugged me. Daniela, you made it. Then my mother leaned toward me and whispered, You don't mind covering dinner, right? This is Claire's special night. I looked around the table. There were 12 people. 12. I forced a smile. Sure. I thought it would be an ordinary dinner. I was wrong. The first warning came when my brother-in-law, Marcus, opened the menu. He didn't look at the prices. He simply said, Let's get the seafood tower. Then came lobster, steak, imported oysters, several bottles of champagne. Every time I thought the bill couldn't get higher, someone ordered something else. I finally leaned toward my mother. Mom, isn't this getting a little excessive? She frowned. Daniela, don't embarrass us. This is your sister's night. So I stayed quiet. But then Marcus raised his glass. To family. Everyone cheered. I looked at him. He smiled. Especially to Daniela. She's always been the generous one. Everyone laughed, except me, because they didn't know what I knew. 3 months earlier, I had discovered something that completely changed how I saw my family. Claire and Marcus weren't struggling. They had been telling everyone they were drowning in debt. They had asked me for money for rent, medical, bills, car repairs, baby expenses. Over the past 2 years, I had given them almost $35,000. I never asked for it back. I believed I was helping my sister. Then one evening, I accidentally saw a photo Marcus posted online. He was standing beside a brand new luxury car. The caption read, Finally upgraded. I checked the date. 2 days after he had begged me for money because they supposedly couldn't pay their rent. I didn't confront him. Instead, I started looking. And what I found was worse. Claire and Marcus had been spending money on expensive vacations. Designer clothes, luxury restaurants, and shopping trips. Meanwhile, they kept telling me they couldn't afford basic bills. They weren't desperate. They were using me. And that night, they were about to do it again. The waiter returned with the bill. He placed it gently on the table. $947.82. Marcus looked at me. So, Daniela. He pushed the bill across the table. I didn't touch it. Instead, I smiled. Actually, before I pay, I want to say something. The table became quiet. Claire looked confused. My mother whispered, Daniela, not here. Oh, I think here is perfect. I pulled my phone from my purse. I've spent the last 2 years believing Claire and Marcus needed my help. Marcus suddenly stopped smiling. I opened the photos. Their luxury car, their vacation, their shopping, receipts, their expensive hotel. Then I showed everyone screenshots of the messages they had sent me asking for money. One said, Daniela, please. We're desperate. Another said, we don't know how we're going to survive this month. The restaurant table went completely silent. Claire's face turned pale. Marcus leaned toward me. You went through our private life? No, I said calmly. You put it online. My mother stared at Claire. Is this true? Claire couldn't answer. Marcus finally spoke. Look, we made some mistakes. I shook my head. No. Mistakes happen once. This was a plan. Then I reached into my purse and placed one final document on the table. It was a printed statement showing every payment I had sent them over the past 2 years. Total. 34, I'll eat 60. I looked directly at Claire. I never asked you to repay me. Her eyes filled with tears. I know. But tonight, I continued, you decided I should pay another $4,000 while you laughed about how generous I am. Nobody spoke. Then, I did something they never expected. I stood up. I'm not paying this bill. Marcus stared at me. You invited everyone. No, I replied. Mom invited everyone and told me I was paying. My mother looked down at the table. I continued, so here's what I'm going to do. I'll pay for Claire's meal. Her meal only. I placed my card beside Claire's plate. Then I looked around. Everyone else can pay for what they ordered. The reactions were immediate. My uncle complained. My cousin became angry. Marcus called me selfish. My mother said I was ruining the family, but I didn't argue. For the first time in my life, I simply let them be angry. The waiter returned and began separating the checks. Suddenly, the laughter was gone. People who had been ordering without looking at prices were now staring. Carefully at every dollar, Marcus quietly removed the champagne from his portion. My mother refused dessert, and Claire sat silently beside me. When I finished paying for her meal, I stood up. Claire grabbed my hand. Daniela, I'm sorry. I looked at her. I hope you mean that. I do. Then prove it. She nodded. I walked out of the restaurant alone. For the first time, I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. The next morning, Claire called me. She told me Marcus had admitted everything. They had been taking advantage of me because they believed I would always forgive them, but something else happened too. Claire got a second job. Marcus sold the luxury car, and they started paying back the money, little by little, not because I demanded it, because for once, they understood what their actions had cost them. Months later, Claire invited me to dinner. This time, it wasn't an expensive restaurant. It was a small family place. When the bill arrived, she reached for her wallet before anyone else. She smiled. Don't worry, Daniela. I've got mine. I smiled back. That means more to me than any lobster ever could. That night taught me something I wish I'd learned years earlier. Being generous doesn't mean allowing people to use you. Sometimes the strongest revenge isn't humiliating someone. It's simply taking away the opportunity to hurt you again. And sometimes, the most shocking thing you can do to people who think they'll always have your money is say no.